everybody, and welcome to Perspectives. And we are back in the studio, and we're taping a show for the first time away from the home edition in the studio on March 24th, and it's good to have you with us. We have a very special guest in our first segment today. His name is Don Morris. He's the Executive Director of the Office of Workforce Development. Don, welcome.
Thank you. Thanks for having me on.
It's good to see you, my friend. A little bit about it, because it's a mouthful. What is it?
Well, the Oklahoma Office of Workforce Development, we oversee a federal grant that helps Oklahoma drive people to work and work to find people. And so that is our job. It's been extremely highlighted over the last couple of years, what we do, and it's a great time to live in Oklahoma.
It is a much needed organization, but my goodness, you're going to have tentacles out there all over the state into every business available.
Absolutely. We've seen so much growth on the commerce side, so many new industries coming into the state, so many expanding industries in our states, population growth. That it really is a time that workers are shifting. We hear about the Great Resignation. In Oklahoma, it's more like the Great Shift. And so unemployment's very low. So people are working. They are just working in different industries, leaving some industries really hard to find people.
Are you finding that what's applying in other states is impacting Oklahoma? And by that I mean, you might have an airline maintenance guy here who all of a sudden is working as a security guard or something. I mean, do you see that kind of crossover?
You know, we saw a lot of that at the beginning of the pandemic as things started to shut down. We would see people go and just work whatever they had to do, whatever job they could do.
Yeah. Well, it's intriguing to me
feed their families, that sort of thing. Now that the pandemic is...
I've never in my life, and I'm getting up there in years, but I've never seen so many signs saying help wanted as we have in the past year.
Yeah, exactly. And those, with the growing industries that we have, the employers that are really needing this help, they've seen people leave their industry and move to other types of jobs. And so it's a big shift away from, you know, when the pandemic shut us down, a lot of people made decisions to retire, which is one of the big losses that we had, where people decided to retire and stay retired. But also people found ways to say, you know, I think I'm going to do something else. I think I'm going to find other avenues. We see a huge, over 400% increase in the amount of people searching for work using the word remote. And so people are still hanging on for an opportunity to work remotely and work from home.
We've lost a lot of teachers. We've lost a lot of healthcare workers, people that are sorely needed. Have you a pool you can draw from?
You know, in workforce development, we don't necessarily have a pool, but we have thousands of people always in the pipeline. And so we develop people into, so we have several people wanting to become teachers, but as far as a quick pool of people that we can just go to when the needs are there, we do not have that. I think some of the staffing agencies, personnel agencies that we partner with would come closer to meeting that need.
That's great. You know, I'm seeing stories from other parts of the country where they're taking folks. Well, for example, there was a story, I believe, yesterday on CBS, and there was a guy that had been a janitor at the school, but had always wanted to be a teacher. Yeah. So he started night courses. He started, courses available on weekends to get his degree, got it, got a job as a teacher, I believe in the second grade, and the principal's just singing his praises, and he's working on his master's now. Are you seeing much incentive in that particular column?
Yeah, absolutely. Those are the things that we do. That the individual you're describing, if they would come to one of our 30 workforce centers,
Really?
American Job Centers around the state, partner with us, depending on their situation. I mean, the more barriers a person has, the more funding we can help them with. But yeah, we pay for working uniforms. We can help people with childcare, rent, whatever barriers they have to getting to that job that they want. We can make a difference there. And we do see people, the majority of people that we train and pay for training for will go to career tech or private vocational school. But we also have people go to higher ed. And we're working closely with Dr. Allison Garrett, who's the new chancellor for higher ed, to help more people get into the workforce with a higher ed degree. And so all those things just rise all the boats, advance us.
Are you a state agency?
We are. We are a division of the Department of Commerce.
Rather interesting to me. I think the morning paper referenced some sort of tax cut that the governor has in mind. That won't impact your organization, will it?
It will not. We're actually 100% funded by the federal WIOA grant. And so our funds come from the feds, and then we distribute them around the state that way.
Then you must be a part of a network that's nationwide with other agencies that are similar.
Absolutely. We every state has this fund and has a department that does what we do. And so I actually spent last week in Washington, D.C., learning about some new funding opportunities and things that we can do. And so that's one of the advantages that we have, is we have counterparts in every state, and we share best practice with them. They share best practice with us as well. And so, yeah, I mean, it's a nationwide effort through the WIOA grant, but we also have the leeway to put our own state brand onto these programs. And so they're very much Oklahoma programs, part of Oklahoma agencies, but the funding source is an advantage to us in terms of a federal network.
It would seem to me, and I'm astounded that you're able to, what's the right word? Reach out and touch somebody, if you will, from another state, and they're able to do the same thing with you.
Yeah, it's absolutely very open, especially when the pandemic hit. We have regular calls with the federal government to talk about the best things that states are doing. And it's a very open network. No one takes ownership, and they're great ideas. And we're also a state that people come to learn more about how to best distribute this fund and come up with the outcomes that we come up with.
Don, how does this work? Let's say there's someone out there that has been looking, that wants to utilize your services. What do they do?
The starting place would be to go to our webpage, oklahomaworks.gov. On the webpage, you can find your local workforce job center. When you come into one of our job centers, there are so many people in there whose job it is to help. Very specifically, if you're a veteran, for example, you're going to come in and go through a programmatic path specific to your needs. And we have career navigators and people to help. And so that is the place to start. Find your local job center, make an appointment or walk in. And we've got everything in those centers. They vary in size, but probably there's a great center, comprehensive center in Claremore. We just opened one at the old Eastgate Mall location in Tulsa, partnering with multiple agencies. And so when you come in, it's just not getting our service, but when people need TANF and SNAP and other state agencies, we're partners with all those people. We can make those connections for you. It truly is a one-stop shop to make a difference in your work life and overall in your life.
You know, we live in perilous times, as you're well aware. There are things happening on the other side of this world of ours that rattle our very foundation. But we're starting to see in this country and in Great Britain people coming back to theaters, people coming back to restaurants, sporting events. We're seeing them. they're starting to break free of the pandemic, if you will, well aware of the importance of getting those shots, wearing the mask when it was necessary back then. And now we're seeing fewer masks, and people are, the infection rate is dropping drastically. So that's got to be a very, very strong sign for the economy.
It absolutely is, and the economy is just thriving. We were, through the pandemic, we were 11th in the nation in terms of population growth. People coming to Oklahoma from California, Illinois, and New York primarily, because of the freedoms that they have to do business here. Low-cost utilities, fantastic workforce. Oklahoma people are different. You're going to find people with work ethic here, people that can treat your customer the way that you want them to. And so it's a strong economy for Oklahoma, and just getting stronger all the time. Commendable efforts from the Department of Commerce, Scott Mueller, the Secretary of Commerce, really working tirelessly to bring industry to our state. It's causing a problem, but it's the problem to have, right? And so we're seeing all just come in the state, and people are shifting from their current jobs to those new jobs. And in the sense that those jobs pay more, it does leave a pain point for people in a lot of other lower paying jobs and less popular jobs, or jobs where it would be easy to get laid off. A lot of people are still burned by how the pandemic came in and they lost their job. And so as people are looking to bounce back and recover, they're looking for opportunities to work somewhere that has less of a chance, if something happens, to be just immediately laid off.
Don, that's all good news. Thank you, my friend, for taking time out of your schedule and for doing such great work for the state of Oklahoma and the people. Good Lord, they need you so desperately. Thank you again.
Absolutely. It's always great to be with y'all.
We'll talk more down the road, my friend. Take care of you. We're going to take a short break. We'll be back with more right after this.